Okay, let's begin the meeting. City Clerk?
Councilmember Agency Director Mann.
Present.
Marcus.
Here.
Cilio.
Here.
Smith. Mayor Chairman Paris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. And the invocation, the prayer, is going to be done by Angelina Cowie from Troop 6902.
Okay, bless this council meeting as it's about to proceed. That's all she wrote. Help them to be right with their decisions. Amen.
Amen. Angelina found out she was going to do that 3 minutes ago and didn't hesitate, so I'm very proud of her. And now we have Angela Wells, who's going to lead this.
Angelica.
Sorry, what?
Angelica.
Angelica. And you told me that, and I messed it up. I'm sorry, Angelica.
Okay.
And she's going to lead us in the flag salute.
Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, girls. Okay. All speaker cards must be filled out and submitted prior to the agenda item being called. This same rule applies if you wish to speak on non-agendized items at the end of the meeting. Following this process will allow us to conduct a timely and orderly meeting. Thank you. City Manager, is there anything to be removed from the Redevelopment Agency calendar?
Not from the Redevelopment Agency, sir.
Okay. Do I have a motion on the consent calendar?
Move adoption, RCC 1 and 2.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Let's vote.
Mayor Paris, do we need to excuse Vice Mayor Smith?
I'm sorry.
Do we need to excuse Vice Mayor Smith?
Yeah, how are we doing that? Are we doing that by vote, or are we just...
Yeah, by motion and vote to excuse him.
I move we excuse Vice Mayor Smith.
Is there a second?
Second.
Sure. Let's vote. It's unanimous. The Vice Mayor is away on city business, just for anybody's edification that's interested. All right, moving on to the council consent calendar. I will be recusing myself on item 9. Apparently, my office is involved in some kind of litigation with Richmond American Homes. We'll be removing CC 14 and CC 4. Is there a motion on the remaining items on the consent calendar?
Move adoption on the consent calendar except for those 3 items you outlined.
I'll second that.
Let's vote. Can you clear me? Yeah. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, let's call consent calendar item number 4.
Brian Ludick, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Brian Ludick, would like to make a short presentation if, on the change we'd like to recommend.
Okay, thank you.
Very briefly, Mr. Mayor, we have been trying to track pretty closely what the size of these small vertical axis wind turbines would be. However, recently I had a conversation with one of our residents who has been tracking this very, very closely and in fact intends to install one. And she indicated to me that with the change in technology proceeding pretty rapidly, the company that she was looking to use and is one of the sources of information that we used in creating the ordinance has recently changed their designs. The the change, which I verified in looking at their website, would not change the requirement for the width of the turbine arrangement, but does change the height of. And so we would recommend that on page 6 of Ordinance 933, under VOTS standards, number 2, cage height, that we modify the current 60 inches or 5 feet in allowable height to 84 inches, basically allowing somebody to go to 7 feet in height. And this is in line with what we've seen recently in some of the change in technology for these small vertical axis wind turbine systems. And we think that this is an appropriate change to include.
Is 7 feet above the roof line?
If somebody were to mount that on a roof, yes. However, many of the turbines that we're looking at now are actually mounted separately on a pole. We allow up to 35 feet in height for those. Most of them are not that high. The one, for instance, that this resident is looking at would only be 18 feet high. But what the manufacturers are doing is they are increasing to some extent the blade length on the vertical side, because that allows them to harvest the wind a little more efficiently. And because our goal obviously is to try to encourage residents to do these kinds of systems and to make it as easy for them as possible, there's not really a great deal of visual change that we can tell in looking at the site, the website, between the 5 feet that we allow under the current reading of the ordinance or the 7 feet that we would change if that amendment were to occur, because it wouldn't change the overall height of the unit itself.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's open the public hearing. Teresa Malone.
I would be the resident that Mr. Ludicky was speaking with earlier today. I'll put down my deposit. So I'd really like you guys to vote yes.
I want you to tell me the name of the company that you're using, because I want to put one up too.
It's called We Power.
Wind Power?
We, WEPOWER .us, if you want to look them up on the web.
Dot what?
.us.
U.S. Okay.
And your next speaker card is one of their representatives, because we're all sitting together.
Oh, good. He can give me a call next week. That'd be wonderful.
The overall height of the unit that I've ordered is going to be less than 26 feet. So I'm under the height of the highest pole with the overall height of the entire unit. So,
you know, we should have a press conference when you install that, because
as long as you don't take my picture, you can.
You were the first citizen to come forward, and you pushed it, and I mean, it really is an example of what can happen with community involvement.
I like to think of it as watching the sausage being made.
We will certainly do that, sir. It's a good idea.
That'll be wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Arnold Rodeo.
Yeah, I'm for this. This is really good. It's actually something that's very good also on these systems, because the wind path design on these do vary. So that's actually a really good change. So I do support this, but I would like to see a look at the requirements for putting photovoltaic and other forms of alternative energy also, to where those processes could be streamlined and where those fees could be reduced. It's very similar. You have the inverters, you have the various electrical components that are similar to this, and I would like to see more of a total package of the alternative energy put into effect, as well as the wind turbines. Thank you.
Thank you. And Mark Smith.
Good evening, Council. I'd like to applaud you for being a leader in our local communities to working towards this. It's a great option for our residents. If you have any questions, we're available. We're a dealer installer for We Power. We're based out of Hesperia. I have a few brochures if you want me to leave them for people to go over. So any questions, I'm available.
On an average family of 4, you know, what an average house, whatever, you would know more about that than I would. How much of the power does this take care of?
We have 5 different models. So there's a range for whatever needs, whether it's small single-family residence to larger single-family to commercial, industrial. So that really depends on what your needs are. So some homes you can design a system where it produces 50%. Some homes it could be 100%. Just kind of depends which unit you want to go with.
If you put up one unit, what's the least amount of power it will generate in regards
It can
to?
depend on the size of the home. So like the one we're talking about, the 1.2, it's going to produce in the neighborhood of
10 kilowatts?
Yeah, it's about 350 kilowatt hours of production a month on an average. There again, it's going to depend on wind conditions, depend on what kind of energy uses the home has. We got larger models that produce more. They still stay on the 18-foot tower, just the diameter of the cages, if you will, increases a little bit, which makes up for the difference of production. So it goes from 1.2 kW to 3.4 kW, 5.5, all the way up to 12 kW. It just depends what the needs are.
Okay.
So
Thank
all
you.
those same 18-foot poles, no guy wires. They're rated with a stand. I think it's 120-mile-an-hour winds. Leading manufacturer of small wind turbines. We also represent another company, Southwest Wind Power, out of Flagstaff, Arizona, with a horizontal turbine. It's on a 33-foot pole. We just installed one for the city of Hesperia in their park right behind City Hall. So it's a lot of great new technology available that's came out.
There's no batteries, it just goes under the grid?
Straight to the grid, right to the electric panel.
Okay.
Very clean, very safe operation.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time. Where can I leave these at?
Thank you. Okay, any discussion? Is there a motion?
Move that we adopt CC4.
I'll second
Mr.
that.
Mayor, the motion is actually to introduce the ordinance tonight. Since we made a change to it, it'll come back to you at the next meeting for final adoption.
Okay, good.
Okay.
You're amending the...
Amended as so restated.
Okay, let's vote. And it's unanimous. Let's go to CC 14. Who's going to help us with that?
I just wanted to make one statement on that, sir. Just for the council and the public's information, this is the recommendation to award a bid for American Heroes Park downtown. And why we're excited about this is because we believe if we award this, we'll be able to complete this in about the same time frame as the boulevard improvements we're looking for. And I think it's a big milestone for downtown and for the city. If there's any technical questions, we can certainly answer those as well, too. But we just wanted to point out this is very good for the city and downtown.
Thank you.
What's your ETA and completion for this?
Bob, we're looking at like May, June, if it's awarded tonight, obviously. I see that smile.
That long, huh?
Can't make the grass grow faster. It's got to be planted at a certain time.
Sod.
Yeah, there's such a thing as sod. You guys are a little behind schedule here, aren't you? Okay. Any discussion? Any questions? Let's open the public hearing. Mr. Rodeo?
Yeah, unless something's changed, as I understand it, this park, which is going to cost us over $5 million, is not going to be allowed to be used by the residents for most of its operating time, as I understand, unless that's been changed. That it's going to have restricted hours during the week for exclusive use by the school. And I have a problem with spending that type of money over the average taxpayer where they can't use the facilities. So if I'm wrong, I'll stand corrected, but my understanding is right now that this park is basically a private park. And that's a concern that I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like me to answer that?
Yeah, we might as well put it out there.
First off, like with the soccer center, we have exclusive use at certain times. AYSO uses the soccer center at certain times, the fields, and pays for it, just as the two schools here, which are Sacred Heart and Seventh-day Adventist, would pay as well, too. And it's a portion of the park that will be used during school hours for those entities. There is also parts of the park, Bob, correct me if I'm wrong, that will be open 24, and then those fields will also be open afterwards as well, too.
Yeah, that's correct. What I would also add to what your comments, Mark, is that about 12.25 acres will consist of that park, and about 26% of it will be used by each school. So almost 50% is available all the time, but about 5 hours a day for at least one of the schools, probably less for the other. Some of the fields wouldn't be available, but the plazas, the pathways, part of the turf areas out front will be available.
How many students do we think are going to be using this on a daily basis?
I think the way the schools are configured right now, you have 200 at Seventh-day Adventists and roughly 330, somewhere around there at Sacred Heart School. They're looking at approximately 150 days out of the year they would use the facility.
I assume some of these 500 students are citizens of Lancaster.
Yeah, I would assume.
Most of them are citizens of Lancaster. So the park is going to be used by the citizens of Lancaster that happen to go to parochial schools? Do we have any statistics on, other than Lancaster City Park, how much the parks are used during the day?
Well, all parks are available from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. Those are our normal
what
park
I'm asking
hours.
you is how many people are in those parks during school hours?
It would vary. There could be as many as a handful during the day to several hundred at City Park that probably use a playground area. It really does vary based on the park. But the fact the perimeter of the park, I would imagine downtown with the senior facility that's just north of the facility, as well as all the other senior housing, we'll probably have a lot of people who use the perimeter of that park to walk through it, as well as they can go through the middle of the park. It's separated by fence, so they can still use that part of it, too.
Well, I'm a believer in partnerships with everybody we can partner with. The more parks we can put next to schools, that schools can use them during the day, I think that's the way to go. You guys might have a different point of view. Okay, any discussion? Is there a motion?
I move that we adopt CC 14.
I'll second that.
Let's vote. It's unanimous. Okay, I'm going to leave the room for CC 9, and Mr. Cilio will assume the chair.
Thank you. Mayor Paris is leaving the room for CC9. Do we have any speakers cards or anything on any communications on CC9?
No, sir.
And can we just entertain a motion?
I move that we adopt CC 9.
I'll second that.
We'll call for the vote. And that passes 3-0 with Mayor Paris outside the room. Mr. Mann, could you get Mayor Paris? And we'll turn the meeting back over to the mayor.
Thank you. Okay, no public hearings, no new business. Councilmember Marcus will be giving us a report.
A report on the activities of the Antelope Valley Air Quality Management District. There was an award that was given to Mr. Terry Cisick for his knowledge, integrity, and professionalism installing high-quality vapor recovery systems, which was in the papers, too. It was a pretty significant award. It's the 2008-2009 William J. Pete Knight Memorial, and the rest of it was pretty usual.
Thank you. Any others? Okay. City Manager?
I have a few quick announcements. I'm going to ask Bob Green at the end to talk about the Aerospace Walk of Honor briefly. Today in the Los Angeles Times, it was reported that the Lancaster Sheriff Station had the second greatest drop in crime of all sheriff stations in L.A. County. The only one above us was Avalon, which has 3,100 people. So that's a testament to the great work of the community as a whole. It was a great story. We'll be making sure that we put out a press release on that, too.
Avalon would be Catalina?
Yeah.
all 1 square mile. They must have arrested their criminal.
Yes.
I had the honor of representing the city today at a press conference to announce the Veterans Parade November 7th, and the gentleman that we heard today, Bob was Smithy, Jim Hildreth, is an 89-year-old man who was a World War II prisoner of war for 3.5 years, and it was about the most inspiring veteran story I ever heard. So we're going to invite him to a future council meeting to give that around Veterans Day. That parade will be 10 o'clock on November 3rd. There was a statement made at the last council meeting by a woman claiming knowledge of a rape that was investigated vigorously by the Sheriff's Department the next day, and those charges were proved to be totally unfounded. I just wanted to make sure that that was reported. With that, if there's any questions, if not, I'd like to ask Bob Green to give a minute or two about Walk of Honor, which is an amazing success again.
Mayor and council members, we appreciate all your support on that event. It really was very successful. We have had numerous calls, letters, comments from people that participated, how much they enjoyed it. Really was a very successful event. I kind of look at it as 5 events in one, because we start with a breakfast, an unveiling ceremony, then the actual ceremony, and then a party at the end where people get a chance to mix. And people just loved it. They really enjoyed that event. Keynote speaker I thought was very interesting, describing leaving the moon and traveling to the moon. And though I've read a lot of stories about that journey from these astronauts, his, I think, were probably the most prolific and gave you the best feel for what that was like. And as he called it, magnificent desolation once you're on the moon. It was very, very interesting. I kept thinking how important it is that we hear people like this, because probably in 10 years, no one is alive who's been on the moon. Those people are getting up in age and soon will be gone. But very good event, very positive feedback that we got about the city of Lancaster. A number of people who commented that were people that traveled here with their families because a family member was honored, indicating that they'd like to live in a city like this or live in Lancaster specifically. So I thought it showed our best foot forward, and the city was great. We appreciate Maria Elena opening up Lemon Leaf that we could use in the morning. And to all the staff, we had some staff that did some incredible work on this, a handful of people in our department who just did a terrific job, including a book that they put together that has been selling very rapidly. People really enjoyed that, and I think it gives some history not only of Lancaster and the Antelope Valley, but also of the 100 pilots we put in this Walk of Honor. So thank you.
Thank you. You did do a great job.
I appreciate it on behalf of the staff. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
I just wanted to add to that is that I heard over and over from the relatives of those that were honored that how pleased they were, how well treated they were treated by the staff, and they just couldn't say enough. And it's quite an inspiring event.
Great.
And you guys do. There's a stamp of excellence on it. So thank you.
You try to keep up what other staff do around the city. There's a lot of good things that happen. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, City Clerk.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the time for you to address the City Council on any items that are not on the agenda. You'll find speaker cards at the back of the council chambers. We ask that you fill them out as clearly as possible so that if the council or the city staff needs to get in touch with you, they will have your information. As much as we appreciate your request to make comments before your 3 minutes begin, please know that your 3 minutes do begin when you start to speak. You're limited to 3 minutes, and when you approach the podium, you'll see 3 lights. The green light comes on when your time begins, the yellow light comes on when you have 30 seconds left, and the red light comes on when your time is up. We ask that you be courteous of the allotted time to allow other people to have their 3 minutes as well. This will allow for a timely and smooth running meeting. Our microphones are very sensitive and are able to pick up your voices, so we request that you not move them. There is a button on the front of the podium that raises the podium up and down to suit your size, so feel free to use that. State law does prohibit the City Council from taking action on items that are not on the agenda. Therefore, your matter will be referred to the City Manager if necessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Dale Dumke.
Thank you for hearing me. My name's Dale. It's like Mayor City. Excuse me. My first, it's like, is it Mrs. Perez or Moretez? You were speaking about city licenses the other day, and if there's a way to solve the problem. Well, Palmdale has a sticker that they put on the cars, for people that have city licenses. Why can't Lancaster adapt that? So it's like when we're driving down the street, we can say, well, hey, that guy has a city license. I mean, what would that sticker cost? Is, what, 5 cents, 10 cents? It would solve the problem of stopping and asking those people, do you have a city license? I do question anybody. It works for me, or I work with anybody. If they have a city license, and of course they say no. It's like, so they instantly hang up. But my next question is on Parks and Recreation. I'd like to know, it's like, what you guys are speaking. You're speaking about, you're building up the Lancaster Boulevard, and it's like, what are we going to do for kids? It's like, I have several skaters, and I know you guys all don't like skaters because you think they do damage. But recently, some of my kids have been chased out of parks because it says no skateboarding. We need some skateboard parks here in Lancaster. We have them in Palmdale, but it's like, we need some parks here for the kids. Something for the kids to do for free. I mean, I'm sorry, it's like, I know all our tax dollars pay for that, but it's like, they are our next generation. It's like, you guys speak of a park that you're building that costs, I don't know how much, millions. But is this town for old people, or is it for the next generation? And it's like, I don't know if you guys want to be considered Hemet. I don't know. I mean, it's like, that's what Hemet is. It's a retirement town. But it's like, we need something for the kids. And that's why my kids are here today. Of course, they look like girls, but but that's all the skater did. All right? I'm sorry. All right, but it's like, we also had a problem. I know I only got 36 seconds. It's like somebody brought up a rape the other day when I was watching the TV. This is important. I don't know if you're going to give me any more time. One of the kids was approached by a pedophile in our park Sunday night. Okay? We need more rangers to be patrolling those parks. We used to be able to go to that park.
Which park are we talking about?
El Dorado. Okay. All right, and we've been searching this park. We got a description of them. The rangers know. I've called the police station every day, but we've been looking for him. It's like we got a description. And I questioned 6 of the kids to make sure this is not a rumor. He did come across 6 kids and offered them money to do something in the bathroom. So it's like, this is pretty scary.
I'm assuming they're treating that as a priority?
Yeah, I hope. Yes. Because I even came into the city yesterday.
Okay. And I'm sure they will be. I have
Have you reported
doubt
that to, I'm sorry, sir.
I have no doubt that they're going to focus on this like a laser beam.
I even stopped today and saw an officer taking his break there, and I said, "Are you aware of this?" And he said, "No, I didn't." So it's like, this is important.
Did you report it to the sheriff's department?
Yes, there
they
was
took
a report made. There was also the money was given to the police officer. The note that what the kid was supposed to do.
Okay.
I mean, this is something serious. But it's like I said, on the kids, used to be able to go to the park. I don't know if you remember. I've lived here for 48 years.
I'm sorry, okay. I'm sorry, but your time's up. And the problem I have, if I let anybody go over, then I got to let everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Perhaps we ought to look into at least one park, certain hours that they could have skateboards.
A couple of the designs we're looking at are just for that. We're looking at a place for skateboard park.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Could I just answer a couple of things? Mr. Dunkey, in reference to the business licenses, I actually had turned one in to the city that had a business license number on the side of the vehicle here in Lancaster, and it was not licensed in the city of Lancaster. So,
we had a sticker.
well, I'm saying he had a number, but you're saying a specific sticker that comes from the city?
Yeah, Palmdale does it.
We could certainly look into that if you'd like, but what we have on the side of the cars for those kinds of businesses, Palmdale requires them for certain businesses, not all businesses. We make them put the California contractor's license number on that. I think what you saw was someone who had a license number on there, but not a City of Lancaster license.
Right.
But we can certainly look into what that would take.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Darlene Peterson? I lost you there for a minute.
Don't pick on me. I'm old and feeble and helpless.
Yeah, you're breaking my heart, Darlene. I just can hardly stand it.
Okay. When the subject of naming a park after Jim Gilley came before the council recently, there was a trade-off of sorts made to name the soccer fields after Jim Gilley and the park to be named American Hero Park. End of story. Or so we thought. However, now it comes to light that there is a plan to realign Beach Avenue and name it in some fashion after Jim Gilley. No mention of that plan was ever made at the aforementioned discussion, even though it was already in place. Mr. Gilley has been sufficiently honored by having soccer fields named after him. Enough is enough. While I realize the alignment is an acre of only about 3 blocks, it's the principle of the thing. Said plans were made by another council way back in 2002, but you are in charge for now. Mr. Gilley will have his name on more things in town than Rex Paris at taxpayers' expense. So just watch it. Please cure this Gilley-itis virus once and for all. The public doesn't want to tolerate being treated like mushrooms anymore. That means we're kept in the dark and fed manure.
That's not how you said it the other day.
Oh, and I want to mention, if I have time, oh, look at that. I went in to see Mr. Ludicky yesterday to look at the plans of this realignment. And I fully expected him, when he heard my name, to go running out the back door, pulling his hair out, so I posted a guard out there. And bless his heart, he didn't run, he didn't flinch, he was a perfect gentleman. He came out, and he is one of your better employees.
Thank you, Darlene.
And you and I aren't going steady anymore. We are.
I guess Paris Parkway's out of the question.
She must have seen your bowling
Oh,
shirt.
we could name it the Secret Parkway, or American Parkway, or Hero Parkway. If you run out of names, call me. I got a list this long.
Thank you, Darlene.
In defense of Mr. Ludicky, Darlene, not that you're hard to get along with, but I see Mr. Ludicky doesn't have much hair left.
Say it to me. What do you say?
I think I'll let you watch that on TV later.
If any of the council members want to put this on the next agenda or the agenda after that, probably better because the next one's full. They're certainly welcome to do it. But it was something done by another council. I know. Okay. I think this is something Ed Cilio voted on, actually.
I think it was in 2002.
Okay. 2004. All right. Okay, that's it for the speaker cards. We have no closed session items today. Any agency council comments?
I just had one more question.
Yes,
Was the Walk of Honor going to be broadcast on NASA channel or just the Moon Tree?
No, the entire program, starting at Boeing Plaza, will be broadcast on NASA television. There is a strong possibility it's on tomorrow. But they're going to get us a copy, and what I've asked if they would do that on a CD, and then we'll put that on our website too. And I'm not unaware of the time. I'm not sure what time it'll be on their channel.
Okay.
But that goes nationwide, if not worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we could probably get a tweet out or a Facebook or something if we find out when it's going to air. Is that Shannon?
Do we have a Twitter account for the city?
Yeah.
I know we have Facebook.
Are we on Facebook, too?
Yeah, we can get it all out.
Are you not a friend on Facebook with the City of Lancaster?
I signed up for that Facebook, and I saw 1,000 messages come in, and I haven't looked at it since.
Price of fame.
Okay. So, Carol, I'm coming home. My day is done. We're now adjourned until Tuesday, October 13th, 2009 at 5 p.m. Thank you. And that's a record.